Okay, the fluids have been checked. We're in the car.
Here we go.
Have the keys in the ignition. It's time to fire this podcast up.
And the 6.6 liters of V8 power have been fired up for episode number 11 of the Walt Parr Podcast. As always, uniting all generations and types of Mopar fans, lovers, and enthusiasts everywhere, from Walter P. Chrysler to today's Mopar and beyond. Thank you so much for joining me here. I am your host, Scott Gresser, Mopar since 1960, and I'm ever so grateful you can join me here on episode 11 of the Walt Parr Podcast. My email address, if you'd like to reach me, is waltparpodcast@aol.com. You can find me on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Threads. Search Walt Parr Podcast. Also, I'm on YouTube Podcasts, and Rumble. Search Walt Parr. Now, to begin today's podcast, it is with much sadness to report that on May 11th, Mid-Ohio Mopar's charter member Sharon Potter has passed away. When I did my first Mopar Club Spotlight, I did the club I belong to, the Mid-Ohio Mopars. Sharon and her husband Tom, as well as Carol Goodrich, were part of the interview. And this is Sharon here, who has passed away. Sharon has been instrumental even from our annual show number 1 in the beginning of the club when they joined. She was the person who took care of our show registrations, participant check-ins, and handling and tallying of the judging votes. And she did a very good job of it. Now, did she have some help during the events themselves? Absolutely. All kinds of different people through the years. And she sure did get the help, and she appreciated every single one of them out there who helped her with the task at hand. Now, her husband, Tom, and Sharon were definitely a team. Whatever he did, she did, and vice versa. Now, Tom wasn't the only one who would burn rubber in their 1970 Super Bee that they had brand new. She did it too. She probably did it better because when they first bought the car, she actually drove it to work every day. So I'm sure she had a lot more opportunities than Tom did to get the job done of burning the rubber off those custom wide tread polyglasses on that car. Now, we at Mid-Ohio Mopars and everyone in the Mopar community who knew her, we will all miss Sharon very, very much. She was not only a worker for our club, she was a good friend to everyone who ever met her. Thanks, Sharon, for everything. We're going to miss you here at the show this year and in future years. We'll be looking up at you as we do it. We know you'll be looking down to help us with the show because we'll be able to do it, and we're going to keep on doing it. So let's just, we appreciate it very much. Now, there is more sad news to report. This coming from the Mopar Nationals Facebook page, and they posted that Richard Katulak has passed away. Now, Mr. Katulak was one of the founders of the Mopar Nationals and the former Mopar Scat Pack Club. Now, Mr. Katulak also designed the event shirts for the first 5 years of the Mopar Nationals. Now, I bring these up to the beginning of the podcast. We're going to miss these people very, very much. But I also bring these up because, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what the organization is, service club, volunteer, fire, charities, whatever, there's a lot of reasons why, so I'm not complaining at you or anything or pointing my finger and says, how dare you or whatever. But we need people for these shows in order to keep these traditions going or even starting new ones. Be it a cruise-in, a swap meet, a get-together, a cruise, a poker run, whatever the case may be. For all of us to enjoy these things, it takes people to run them to begin with. And we could certainly use your help. Now, with Sharon's passing, we're going to have to work very diligently because we only have less than 3 months till our show now. Actually coming up to 2 months now at the beginning of the month for our 33rd annual Mid-Ohio Mopar show. So we're going to have to scramble together, look through Sharon's notes and everything, see what we can do to get the progress done. Now, Carol Goodrich, the founder of the club as well, she's helped out with registration, and she's also our club treasurer. So she can help out as well, but there's going to be other people we're going to need to be relying on. Some of this stuff, like I said, Sharon did. It wasn't that it was a secret what Sharon did, but we still have to know how to do it because we have a show coming up. We're going to do it, and hopefully we'll be able to do it smoothly for you. But please, if you can, even if it's for a couple minutes, help out with whatever you can at a show you belong to. Regardless if you belong to a club that's online or organized, with bylaws and meetings and everything else. Show up at the shows and see what you can do to help while you're there. It's always appreciated. And yes, so please just help out. We need people now more than ever. We know time is of the essence. We know time is critical for every single one of us. But if you can squeeze a minute in, it would be very much appreciated, very much. And besides that, you're doing it with all your fellow Mopar friends. And we need, Chris Albrecht brought this up in one of his Facebook Lives. I agree with him 100%. Chrysler people, Mopar people, we are a fractured bunch. We think what we own is the best and nothing else matters. That can't happen anymore. We have to work together to keep this car hobby going. And like I said, every little bit helps. I'm vice president of my club. I personally don't want to be president, but because there's a lot of other things that I really don't have the time for. But there's other people, even if we split up the duties, can do it. I fill in at the meetings. The president we have, he does a lot of traveling for his job, so I've filled in for about 3 meetings, I think, so far this year. He'll be back more in the summertime, but his traveling in his job is critical for him to make a living. You don't make a living off the clubs, but it's very important that he makes it now. He's got kids in college and growing up, and he's got to make a living. And he actually comes down from Cleveland to work in the Worcester, Ohio area to help out with our club. So, Brent Smith, we thank you for that. But I always fill in. I do the meetings for him when he's not there. And but please, I'm sort of drawing this out. Do what you can to help out your fellow Mopar enthusiasts, no matter what they drive. Please help them out, and it'd be very much appreciated. And that way we all can have our shows and we all can have a good time together. Now, let's get to the headlines concerning the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram brands worldwide. It's been talked about in the past, and now it is official. Hydrogen power is coming to Ram. David Zatz of Stel Power reports the ProMaster vans worldwide will start getting hydrogen power first, with Ram heavy duties coming later. Now, it is not definite if the Cummins engines, which offers an array of engines available for hydrogen power for Class 8 trucks, will be used for the Ram heavy duties. There is a hydrogen version of the 6.7-liter diesel already being produced. That's the same size engine that Dodge uses or Ram uses in their trucks. But technology from Peugeot, which is owned by Stellantis, may be used as well. We'll have to wait and see. Ram Heavy Duties wouldn't be getting the technology, according to Mr. Zatz, until after the 2030 model year. But Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports the Ram 5500, they may be getting hydrogen power beginning next year. Again, we shall have to wait and see. In episode number 10 of the Walpar podcast, it was reported members of the United Auto Workers at the Warren Stamping Plant in Michigan are planning a strike based on safety and health issues. Well, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, has reported on May 7th the union members did vote to strike the plant. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports Sox and Martin and the Herb McCandless Collection will be sponsoring the Hemi Challenge at the 70th annual NHRA U.S. Nationals, which will be held Labor Day weekend in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Beard, Patrick Rawle of Stel Power, reports he found on the Dodge Garage website GLH Apparel. Mr. Rawle believes the apparel is being offered ahead of a production premiere of a higher performance Hornet model. Time will tell. That's what he's thinking, but it makes all the sense because They were thinking on bringing back the GLH letters for a model of the Hornet. So we'll have to see. That's the GG body. That's a new sport utility vehicle that they have out that just came out. It's built in Italy. Also, it's in line with the Alfa Romeo Tonale, but Dodge has the Hornet. We're going to see if that comes out with an even higher performance model for that. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, is asking Stellantis, what gives? Apparently, there are vehicles being produced that are not coming with the advertised equipment. Mr. Miller himself has a long-term use of a 2023 300C. Lucky guy. But he noticed that the trunk had one light instead of two it was supposed to be equipped with, as well as a few other items that are missing on the car. There's been other instances of this found as well, and all this is going on while Stellantis has not lowered the prices on its vehicles. So buyer beware, make sure everything is there when you buy your brand new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. Dodge is working on getting a patent for what is called Active Aero Solutions. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, explains how it works in his article on moparinsiders.com. Do you remember when the LB Charger premiered at the 2022 Woodward Dream Cruise? It had two slots at the top of the header panel between the grille and the very top piece of the header panel. And that was to slice air through those slots to help the aerodynamics of the car. Now, let's go back in time. Do you remember the 1969 Charger Daytona? Had the big wing in the back. Well, in the center top portion of that wing, it adjusted, back and forth a little bit. Well, you combine that with the slotted hood on the header panel, or the slots on the header panel of the Charger LB body. And what it does, it takes that adjustable spoiler and puts it on top of the header panel to provide an even better airflow and downforce when you're driving. So the top piece on that header panel of the LB body Charger is supposed to adjust, not just stay still while air's slicing through the bottom of it. It's supposed to adjust. Now, moparinsiders.com, Robert Miller has several artist renderings. One's a two-piece, one is a one-piece on what they're after. And that's why they're getting a patent for the patent office for this Active Aero Solution. And speaking of patents, Dodge right now, or Stellantis, I should say, is getting one for the CUDA name. So is it coming back? Well, yes and no. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports Stellantis has filed a petition with the United States Patent Office for the use of the name. Nothing official has been mentioned why the filing has been made, but they did go for the name. We'll see what comes up. It could be possibly on some concepts, because they've used all kinds of different names on concepts, that brings back. Remember, the original Charger 4-door came out as a concept before it became a model in 2006. So we'll see what happens. But check out the illustrations at moparinsiders.com. Now, while an exact date has not been set, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports with sourcing from WIFR Television that they report the mayor of Belvidere, Illinois, Clint Morris, and Stellantis are still working together to get the assembly plant there up and running in Belvidere, Illinois. United Auto Workers and Stellantis in the United States ratified a new labor contract last fall, as you've heard. And after the ratification, Stellantis has been announcing layoffs worldwide, particularly in the U.S. and in Italy. But Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, reports relations are starting to sour a little bit between the UAW and Stellantis. David Zatz of Stelpower reports with sourcing from Automotive News that United States Senators Edward Markey and Ron Wyden wrote to the Federal Trade Commission and asked them to investigate 8 automakers who promised their customers they would not turn over their vehicle data that they have collected to law enforcement agencies. But they did it anyways. It was found out the action of the 8 automakers sharing the data itself wasn't illegal, but after promising their customers they wouldn't do it, it became illegal. The action promise, broken promise, that's what was illegal. But it's good to know Stellantis was not one of those 8. Now, a source from Jeep talked to Patrick Rall of Stelpower, and while the source wished to remain anonymous, the future Jeep Wrangler will be powered with a more powerful second-generation 4xe system, as well as an electric version, which they say the electric version should be faster than what the Wrangler 392 was. Now, unless you've been in a cave or down in a hole plugging yourself up, big news on the Stellantis front. Dodge CEO and Ram CEO, he did them both, Tim Kuniskis, will be retiring effective June 1st of 2024. Now, Patrick Rall of Stelpower and Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders have excellent highlights of Mr. Kuniskis' career, which dates back to 1991. He's 57 years old now, ladies and gentlemen, so 33 years ago he was started. So he was in his 20s. Now, he's been a dedicated all this time, all the way through the Chrysler brands when it was Chrysler Corporation, Daimler Chrysler, Chrysler Group LLC, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, and Stellantis. Now, as Mr. Kuniskis, who was very big in the fight to bring the Hellcat, Red Eye, and Demon powertrains to the public. Now, Mr. Kuniskis will be replaced by Matt McAleer, who will become the new CEO of Dodge. He was in the sales division of Dodge prior to taking this new position after June 1st. Now, the current brand, who's going to take over Ram? Well, current Chrysler brand CEO Christine Fuel will also be adding her duties by being the new CEO of the Ram brand. 2 things on the Brazil front. Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports Ram Brazil has a new sponsorship marketing partner with Duo Tune Kiteboarding. The reason is you want to enjoy your kiteboard, but you got to find a way to get them there, and you need the perfect vehicle to do that. That's where the Ram trucks from Brazil come in. Now, also from Ram Brazil, the Rampage Laramie now has a new night edition available. So that's it for the news for right now. We appreciate it. You can find these links of these stories and more on moparinsiders.com and stelpower.com. I didn't find any articles to post from Autoblog, but please keep them in mind when you're looking for good, unbiased, standard, non-emotional news that gets you the facts or their opinions, or their insights, but they're not saying they should do this, they should do that. Good, concise reporting from those 3 sources. That's where I get most of my news from. Now, before we go to the feature portion of the Walt Parr podcast, I need to congratulate Car Club out there. The All Modern Mopars of Ohio this year is celebrating their 7-year anniversary. Happy anniversary to all the great people in Columbus, Ohio, and Central Ohio, and whoever else is a member of the All Modern Mopars of Ohio. Around 40 to 45 years ago, the stigma of people who ran or worked on computers, they were considered to be nerds. They were so entrenched into the work, they didn't know much about what went on in the rest of the world. Yeah, they were always, not anymore. Thankfully, in that department, things have changed. Even started in the early 1990s with me, after learning how to make spreadsheets at work, and after we had problems with the awarding of class trophies at our annual Mid-Ohio Mopar show, I volunteered to be the judging committee chairman for the show. I took the knowledge I knew of Mopars in the past, even went through things through the catalogs and the like and serial numbers, and I made a guidebook to use using spreadsheets. I made a guidebook to use when classifying vehicles for judging classes. Now, my guest today on episode 11 of the Walt Parr podcast is Wade Gerard. Wade is a Mopar enthusiast who has owned modern Mopar muscle in the past, now owns a 1974 Challenger. He is a member of Midwest Mopars Club in Minnesota. He's the founder of MiddleTwin.com. Now, MiddleTwin.com is a provider of software for car clubs to help keep track of their functions and its membership. And we'll be talking as well about Mopars in the Park, which is coming up Memorial Day weekend in Stillwater, Minnesota, his love of Mopars, and find out more about MiddleTwin.com. Now, while parts of this interview may sound like an infomercial, I thought I would bring Wade's product on here because it might help you with the club that you participate in. You know, vote tallying for car shows, keeping things straight. That's what his software is about, and we will be talking about that today. And just so you know, I have received no compensation for talking with Wade about his product. So just to let you know, this is something I just want to throw out there. All kinds of suggestions for all things to do to help make life easier. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, here's my conversation with Mr. Wade Gerard. I'd like to welcome Wade Gerard to the Mopar podcast. We're going to be talking about the Midwest Mopars. We're going to be talking about Mopars in the Park up in Stillwater, Minnesota. His love of Mopars, and the most important thing is his software program he has to help car clubs throughout anywhere you want on the computer. So Wade, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, thanks. Wade Gerard. I've lived in Minnesota my entire life. I have 3 daughters and 7 grandkids that keep me busy. Currently living just outside just actually in one of the main suburbs around the Twin Cities. So I'm a software engineer. I've been doing that for over 30 years now. Like you said, I have developed a software as a service program, which is what I do. Any club can use car clubs, but any car club or any club could actually use it as well for managing membership or events.
Cool. All right, tell us a little bit about Midwest Mopars.
Yeah, Midwest Mopars started in 1984, and I was not a part of that at the time, but it started out as a car show, really. The first car show was at the Dodge Burnsville parking lot for a dealership, and then it went from there to a little track, an oval track called Raceway Park, where they had the show there for many years, and it became popular, a very popular local show. And then I can't remember the exact year, but it moved from there to Dakota County Fairgrounds. And when that happened, the show kind of transformed into a national car show, and it quickly became one of the main national Mopar shows to go to, according to Mopar Collector's Guide, and it still is today. Just a wonderful show. I think usually we get anywhere from between 900 to 1,000 cars. We did dip a little bit around the COVID time frame, but we have bounced back since then. It's just a great show. We get a lot of cars from Canada and also from as far away as New Mexico. So we'll get some fantastic cars at our show. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's one of those shows where I didn't really know about it till about maybe 1 or 2 years ago myself. But it's bigger than what people might think from the publicity it gets. I mean, it doesn't get the publicity like the Nationals or Moparty or Carlisle. But folks, this show is right up there with them. Maybe not quite the numbers, but it's still very impressive in itself. It's held all Memorial Day weekend, correct, Wade?
Yeah, well, it's actually the weekend after Memorial, so it's May 31st through June 2nd this year.
Gotcha. Okay, yep. All right. The weekend after Memorial Day. So mark it on your calendar. Wade's been an integral part of this. You set up the website for Mopars in the Park as well as Midwest Mopars, correct?
Yeah, we run the 2 websites. There's actually a different member who runs the marketing websites, but I take care of the software that we use for managing the membership and managing event registration and sales and stuff like that. So
Okay, cool. Now, before we go any further and we talk about Middle Twin, I stressed this in the introduction. I want to stress this to you now because you can answer this question. I am not receiving any compensation for an ad for this. We're here to help promote the car hobby as best we can, although his service is not free, but he does offer it, and I want to let you know about it in case it might help your club. So I'm not getting any money for this. You're not paying me, aren't you, Wade?
that is correct. I'm not paying you.
That's right. So, and I have to do this to let the people know as I distribute the podcast out if there's any advertising. So while I'm not because I'm not getting paid for it. So, and I want to do this to help Wade and help the car clubs out there. What's the name of your business or the website? And tell us a little bit about it, or actually a lot about it.
Yeah. No, thanks for that. So the company name or the product name is Middle Twin, MIDDLETWIN, and it's kind of a funny word. The origin of it is I live on a lake called Twin Lake, but it's actually a chain of 3 lakes, and I live on the middle one. So we all in the neighborhood call it Middle Twin, and it's just sort of a funny name, and so I decided to go with that for the business name. And then as far as the software goes, I started working on it back in I want to say about 2010 2011 timeframe, around our car show Mopars in the Park, as a way to manage the cars that were registering for our show, because we were getting around 500 cars were pre-registering for our show, and so imagine a volunteer who's getting 500 registration forms that are all handwritten and hand filled out with people's names and addresses and their car information and a check, and they have to bring all those 500 checks to the bank, hope that they all process through, none of them bounce, and then read people's handwriting and stuff like that, and then put all that into a spreadsheet, and then bring that to the car show, and then during the show enter in the other 500 cars that show up at the show. And here again, you're doing checks. You don't know if they're good or not, or taking cash, which is always good. And then on the day of the last day of the show, when we had to do awards, but the way our show works is that everybody who shows a car gets a ballot. And so if you get 1,000 cars that show up, you have 1,000 potential ballots that get filled out. And we have 50 different classes. And so the participants are encouraged to vote for their favorite car in each class. So you've got 1,000 ballots with 50 votes on each ballot, and all that has to be tabulated. And it was all being done manually, and it would take hours, and just to get through some of it. And they sometimes wouldn't be able to get through all of it, but they would see the patterns and decide to stop balloting and just go with what everything was, where all the majority was at that point. The other part of that too is then at the awards, because of all this work and how it happened, they would, when they were announcing the winners in the classes, they would just announce the car number. They wouldn't know the name of the person who registered that car. They would just know car number 102 won first place for class 100. And then when they're announcing at the awards banquet, they would then announce car number 1021, and everyone's looking at each other saying, "Oh, I don't remember what my car number was."
Amen to that.
It was kind of an awkward moment, and so that was kind of the first thing I did with my software, was I made a way for all of this information to be entered into a software as a service database system that was I was hosting it at my house at the time, but I made a way to quickly enter in the ballots through basically like a 10 key on a keyboard pad, where you've got the number pad on the side, and our volunteers, we were able to enter in all the ballots that we received in 30 minutes rather than 3 hours, and then we had and then I was able to provide a printout of the results, the top 10 in each class right then and there on the spot, and then it made awards go a lot smoother. Plus, we knew the name of the person who won in each class, so it really worked out pretty well for being able to do that. And so the next year, then I added the ability for our participants to register themselves online and to be able to use a credit card to pay for their registration. And then I added membership management on after that, and so I've slowly added more and more functionality on. And other car clubs started to use it. One of the first car clubs, besides the Minnesota Small Cars Club, was the WPC Club, and they started to use it for managing their membership and also for their events as well. And so it kind of grew from there. My wife was a part of a needleworking club, and they started using my software for managing their membership. They have about 100 members, and they didn't have any events, so they didn't use that part of it. They just used it for membership management. But it allowed their members to be able to sign up and manage their membership and pay for their membership and renewals online using a credit card. And so I every year I just keep adding more and more features to it. And I did add a membership portal to it, so that club members have a dedicated portal they can go to for their club, where they have their own social media feed. So it's kind of like a Facebook, but it's not on Facebook. It's all just for the club, along with the online classifieds, so the members can post things that they want to sell to other members. There's a activities calendar in there, and also I also put in an online store too, so the club can have an online store and sell merchandise if it has like hats or T-shirts and things like that.
Now is the online store, is that like an extra cost feature?
No, it's all included. So
wow, okay.
Yeah. So I got it set up for clubs that are 500 members and under. It's $50 a month, and then if you're above 500 members, it's $100 a month. And I'll work out any type of pricing. I also offer an online or if you sign up, you can get a free trial for 30 days to try it out. I do demos of it, so I can demo it to any club that's interested. And then I was going to say something else, but now I forgot what I was going to say. But basically any club that's interested, they can sign up for a 30-day trial, try it out. And support, I do support for free. There's no cost for support. There's no hidden fees in there anywhere. It's just a monthly fee, $50 a month to use it. It's proven to be a pretty good tool for the clubs that do use it. I have another club that uses it that's not a car club. It's called the Mayflower Club, and it's people that are descendants of people who came over on the Mayflower. And so
wow.
So it works for a variety of different clubs, not just car clubs. But I kind of designed it and made it around the Midwest Small Cars Club. So it's got a lot of good features in there for car clubs.
So the $50 a month or $60 depending on the size of the club, that includes updates.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all software as a service. So there's nothing to download. It's just you go to a website to use it. So
now, how many years has the Walter P. Chrysler Club been using Middle Twin?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I mean, they've probably been using it 5 years now, 5 or 6 years.
Okay, no, that's a good long time. Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like yesterday.
No.
And that's a huge club for them to keep track of everything, because they have members worldwide, and this really helps them out with that.
Yeah.
In fact, their show will be coming up, I think it's in August, up in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, right across the river from Detroit this year.
Yes.
So that should be a good show. Are you planning on going to that one or not?
I was not planning on going to that one, no.
Okay. I doubt if I'll be able to go too. But yes. So how do people, they can go to middletwin.com and get in touch with you with the contact information?
Yeah. Go to www.middletwin.com, and from there you can see some more information. There's a few videos, and then sign up for a demo or just sign up for a free trial, and and go from there.
There you go. So what kind of cars do you have?
I currently have just one classic Mopar. I've got a 74 Challenger.
Okay, I did tell him that in the intro. What's it got for an engine?
Yeah, it's got the 360. It's a 4-speed manual. It was a one-owner car up until 2022.
Wow.
And then in 22, the guy who owned it, the original owner of it, he was living in a nursing home, and the car was parked in the parking lot of the nursing home. But he was in the military. He had special ordered the car from a dealership in North Dakota while he was in the military, and he ordered it with a bunch of options, as many as he could get. It's got the 360 with a 4-speed with a pistol grip shifter, and it's the original numbers matching engine and transmission. Everything is numbers matching on it. I verified all that.
Cool.
And it was a Windsor gray, so because it was a special order color as well. So it's got 2 fender tags on it. I do have the original broadcast sheet for it. I don't have the window sticker, unfortunately, but it's the original interior. It's in it. Floor plan and trunk are rock solid, which is really odd for a car in our climate to have that. But yeah, all original, very solid car.
We can relate to the rust down here in Ohio too. But tell me the difference, please, between owning a classic car, because you had modern Mopar muscle as well. The differences you like or dislike about each.
The new car, I had a 2016 Hellcat. I've also had Chargers and other Challengers. But I mean, they're just, when you drive them, they just have that new car feel, right? So I mean, they're very solid feeling going down the road. They handle extremely well. And my wife would hop in one of those cars and drive it and enjoy it without any problems. She doesn't enjoy driving the older cars as much. I think she's a little uncomfortable with them, just because she knows that they're more irreplaceable than a new modern car.
So she puts more pressure on herself then.
Yeah, but I mean, they handle like an old car, so there's that. But yeah, I mean, for me, if I'm going to go to a car cruise, I want an old car all day long, right? I used to have a 67 Barracuda convertible, and I've got the 74 Challenger. Yeah, those are the cars that I'm going to go to the cruises in and hang out with my buddies and bring to the car show. The new car, though, I mean, that's a fun car to do road trips in and do cruises in. So, yeah.
So they each have their place.
They do each have their place. So there's the modern comforts of the modern car can't be denied. So.
All right. Now there's one thing I want to go back with the Mopars in the park, and that is, and this is for everybody out there, 50 classes, 50 classes of cars. You've got pretty much the field covered.
Yeah, we do. We actually did reduce by a few classes this year, and the reason why is because we had some classes where there was only a couple of cars that were showing up in them, and so we did do a little combining of classes to kind of make it so that we didn't have those situations. But yeah, we've got a really good coverage in the amount of classes. I think we do a pretty good job with that. And our specialty displays. We have some pretty fun specialty displays. A couple years ago, you might have read that we had every color of the 69 Roadrunner that was produced, all original cars.
Holy cow, that had to be a feat to get all those.
Yeah, it was. And we have a guy named Wes Eisencheck, who I'm not sure if you're familiar with the name, but he's written some books about lost muscle cars, and also about Mopars. He's written about the Miss Hurst. I can't remember her name at the top of my head, but Linda Vaughn.
Okay, yep, I've heard that name.
We had her at our show last year, but and so he's and so he's really good at kind of putting together these specialty displays. Well, we're doing the same thing this year, but it's going to be every color of the 71 CUDA billboard car. We'll have every single color in one of our specialty displays this year. So that'll be pretty fun. I think that'll be pretty unique.
And unfortunately, one of those
see.
cars is not your old one.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
So,
but it'll be a really good display. And then we'll also have a display of the A100 trucks and vans.
yes.
And then the A12 reunion. They're having their 55th reunion, and they begin at our show this year. So that'll be a really good display as well.
People may not know this, but the A100s, 2024, 60-year anniversary.
Yep.
They first started in 1964. My mother bought the very first A100 in Worcester, Ohio.
Oh my.
She had a flower shop, and the first delivery vehicle was a 58 Plymouth wagon. And back in the day, the newspaper used to have previews of little pictures of previews of new cars. And my dad was very good friends with the Dodge dealer at the time. In fact, I worked there when I was done with my sophomore year in high school. He saw that picture, so he immediately went down to the dealership and ordered one. And it's actually a pretty cool truck. I mean, there was really nothing custom about it except how it was optioned, because they actually came standard with no side doors at all.
Oh,
And
really?
so any side door you see, windows or not, that was an extra cost item.
Huh.
And on the A100s, you could get side doors on both sides of the van. And Dad ordered it that way. And it had windows and all the cargo doors, but the side rear panels were solid. So it was actually a cargo van. But to look at it with the windows it had, you'd think it was a window van. And so actually that was pretty cool how it was optioned like that. And that'd be pretty cool to see that. It was pretty badly rusted on it. And what was it? 2019, the last year of the Monster Mopar in Norwalk, there's a group of gentlemen from Michigan, an A100 club, the Michigan area up there, and they brought a lot of their vehicles down. So I had some great conversations with them when I was young, and I got my license, and that was the first delivery van I drove was that 64 A100 my mom had. So had a lot of cool conversations with them there. Is that where they're coming from? Do you know, or?
The A100s that we're going to have at our show?
Yes.
I think most of them are local.
Really?
Yeah. One of our main show volunteers, who also handles our food vendors, he's got an A100, and he's the one who put together this display. And I think they're all mostly local people that he knows.
You know, here's the thing. My mom was not the largest person in the world. And back then, you know, women didn't really buy trucks in the middle 60s, so the dealership number one said, "Oh, there's Mary's trucks." That was like a joke. So, there's Mary's truck, because you didn't associate women with trucks. But she drove that A100. It had no power steering, and she did fine driving that when she delivered to weddings and stuff like that. But when we got the B100, the next generation, 71, we thought, okay, well, if the A100 had no power steering, the B100 would be fine without it. Wrong. That thing was so tough. If you were in a tight spot, you were done. You were forced to have power steering on that. But the A100, it did great in steering. And I mean, you know, that setback axle, it steered on a dime and real tight. So it's really those are really good vans back then. So,
Yeah.
well, is there anything else you want to add, Wade, to anything here, or did I miss anything?
Not that I can think of. So, yeah, I mean, come on out. And additional to our show, we do have a burnout contest on Sunday. We will have, we're actually adding go-kart racing to our show this coming Sunday as well. So,
Okay.
go-kart racing on June 2nd. So that'll be fun. And then we have a car teeter-totter on Sunday as well. So yeah, I think it's a 3-day show, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll be, as you know, So yeah, it's definitely one that's worth going to if you're a Mopar fan, for sure.
All right, very good. Well, Wade, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today on the Walt Parr Podcast.
Thank you.
And have yourself a good one. Have a good Memorial Day weekend, and best of luck in the show. It's the last weekend in in May through June 2nd up in Stillwater, Minnesota at the Crawford County Fairgrounds, and I will repeat that event when I do the event calendar. So, Wade Gerard, thank you again so much, and don't forget, middletwin.com.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Wade. Take care, sir.
All right, you too.
Mm-hmm.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, that is one of the many things about the great American dream. He's doing one of those many stories you hear about how people are having fun while they're making a living. That is definitely one example. Thanks again to Wade Gerard. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is middletwin.com for more information if you'd like to have that software program help with your car club. And don't forget, Mopar's in the Park. That'll be coming up the last weekend in May through June 1st. I think it is. Yep, through June 1st. So make it a point to go to it. So, all right, I did that on the top of my head there for the date. We'll go back to it in the Mopar event calendar. But first, in the United States of America, the third Saturday in the month of May, we celebrate the men and women who are currently serving our armed forces on Armed Forces Day. The second Monday in the month of November, we celebrate in the United States the men and women who are still alive who served in our armed forces. And on the fourth Monday in May, we remember the people who lost their lives while defending our country and protecting our freedom. So while I'm recording this episode of the Walt Parr Podcast, think of this. It doesn't matter if your vehicle is stock or modified. It doesn't matter what color your vehicle is. It doesn't matter if your exhaust is quiet, tuned, or loud. It doesn't matter if your vehicle is raised or slammed. It doesn't matter if your vehicle has 1,000 horsepower or 100 horsepower. It doesn't matter what make or model your vehicle is. It doesn't matter what body style your vehicle is. It doesn't matter if your vehicle has an automatic or manual transmission. It doesn't matter how your vehicle is powered. It doesn't matter if your vehicle has a gloss or a flat finish. It doesn't matter if your vehicle is rusted or not. And it doesn't matter if your vehicle is clean or ratty. What matters most, as I'm recording this on Memorial Day 2024, May 27th, or any day for that matter, what matters most is we must never forget someone who died for our freedom to do what we want. Please, ladies and gentlemen, never, ever forget that. Because freedom is one generation away. I'm starting to feel it myself now compared to what I was able to used to do. Don't take anything for granted and be grateful for what you have. Now let's get started with the event calendar. And you know, I started this off in January, I think it was, and was going through the events. We've already burned up February, March, April, and 99% of May. So we're starting off in June, and we're starting off in the great state of Alabama, where June 8th, the Coleman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram presents Mopars by the Lake at Sportsman Lake Park in Coleman, Alabama. Hosting club is Pentastar South. Pre-show get-together will be June 7th, 2024 at 806 Mark Street Southwest in Coleman. Early vehicle registration is $25. Day of show is $30. Show hours are from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. For more information on Mopars by the Lake, call Robert, 256-734-1064, or Brenda, 256-590-2949. I have a flyer to this event on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. In Alberta, Canada, July 27, 2024, the Western Canada's largest Mopar show, Western Mopar Madness. at the Rad Torque Raceway in Leduc County, Alberta, Canada. Show goes from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. Hosting club is the Edmonton Mopar Association. Website for more information is emawmm.com. The great state of Arkansas. It's the third annual Turpentine Creek Mopar Classic at the Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The show goes on from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. You can go to tcmoparclassic.com, or you can also find a flyer on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. The great state of Connecticut, September 22nd, 2024. The 16th Annual Innovators Show and Shine All Mopar Show at Artioli Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Enfield, Connecticut. That's Enfield, Connecticut. Show goes on from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. The hosting club, Mopars in Motion. Call Ralph, 860-416-1228 for more information. The great state of Florida, October 1st through the 5th. Mopars at the beach at Daytona Beach, Florida, not Myrtle Beach like it was in years past. The reason why Kathy Pearson Bridges has moved to Florida to be closer to family. She's taking that great event on with her to Daytona Beach. There is a replacement one that I'll get to when I get to South Carolina. So there'll still be something going on in the fall in South Carolina. But the Mopars at the beach, the same great person who put that on is now putting it on in Daytona Beach, Florida. There is a flyer on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast for more information. November 2nd and 3rd, Mopars with Big Daddy at the Garlits Drag Racing Museum in Ocala, Florida. Phone 352-245-8661 or go to garlits.com for more information. Now, these next events is put on by the Chicagoland Mopar Connection. You can go to their Facebook page at Chicagoland Mopar Club under events for more information on these shows. June 2nd, Mopar Madness 2024 at Kazi Corner Hot Dogs, Beef, and Catering at 1250 75th Street in Downers Grove, Illinois. Again, the hosting club, Chicagoland Mopar Connection. On June 23rd, Mopars at the Park at Fox Lake from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. at Fox Lake Veterans Memorial Park, Fox Lake, Illinois. Show vehicle entry fee is $20. Spectator admission is free. Again, Chicagoland Mopar. And also Chicagoland Mopar, July 20th, we'll have both the Midwest Charger meet, the modern Mopar muscle meet, and on July 21st, the Belvedere Mopar happening. All will be happening on each day from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Belvedere, Illinois. Hosting club again, Chicagoland Mopar Connection. Go to their Facebook page at Chicagoland Mopar Club under events for more contact information on each event. The great state of Indiana, June 14th through the 16th, the National Hemi Owners Association meet and reunion in Brownsburg, Indiana, near Indianapolis. I don't have any further information. I honestly haven't looked at further into it, but it is happening that weekend. There is a beginning flyer of this event on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. And in the great state of Iowa, June 22nd, Mopar Max 2024 special Mopar race, Cedar Falls Motorsports Park in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Flyers on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. And here's the show in Iowa put on by Chicagoland Mopar Connection. Mopars on the Mississippi in Dubuque, Iowa at the Dubuque County Fairgrounds. Going on from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Again, the hosting club, Chicagoland Mopar Connection. Go to their Facebook page, Chicagoland Mopar Club, under events for more contact information. The great state of Kansas. The 39th annual Mopar Meet. That will be going on at Sedgwick County Park in Wichita, Kansas from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Entry fee at the gate is $25. The hosting club is the Wichita Area Mopars. Search Wichita Area Mopar on Facebook. In the great state of Kentucky, August 31st, 2024, the 29th Annual Southern Classic at Kentucky Dragway in Clay City, Kentucky. Contact James Pendergrass or go to moparsouthern.classic@gmail.com for more information. September 13th through the 15th, Holly Mo Party is back at Beach Bend Raceway Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Go to moparty.com or look at the flyer on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. In the great state of Louisiana, it is the National DeSoto Club Convention, which will be held in New Orleans, July 24th through the 28th. Go to desoto.org for more information. In the great state of Michigan, September 21st, it's the 13th annual Michigan Mopar Muscle Club All Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Hub Stadium in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Hosting club is the Michigan Mopar Muscle Car Club. You can go to their website, michiganmoparmuscle.com, or email showinfo@michiganmoparmuscle.com. There's also a copy of the flyer on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. And the event we talked about in the interview with Wade Gerard, May 31st through June 2nd, it's Midwest Mopars in the Park Car Show and Swap Meet. Be held at the Washington County Fairgrounds in Stillwater, Minnesota. Again, the hosting club is Midwest Mopars. You can go to Midwest Mopars or moparsinthepark.com or go to middletwin.com. They'll have all that information for you. August 4th through the 9th, the Plymouth Owners Club National Meet and Greet will be held in Brainerd, Minnesota. The hosting chapter this time around will be the Tall Pines region, Plymouth region. Go to PlymouthOwners.club for more information. The flyer is on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. In the great state of Mississippi, it's Mopars in DeBay at Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Contact 504-512-0367 for more information. The hosting club is the Big Easy Mopar Association, or you can go to bigeasymopar.org. In the great state of Nebraska, 2 events going on. First, July 21st, 2024, it is the 2nd annual H&H Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram All Mopar Show at H&H CDJR in Papillon, Nebraska. That's Papillon, Nebraska. Go to their Facebook and Instagram pages for more information. I also have a flyer on my Instagram account. September 11th through the 15th, it's the Chrysler 300 Club International Fall Meet, which will be held in Omaha, Nebraska. More information to follow. The great state of New Jersey, Califon's Mopar Show to benefit the Califon Veterans Memorial at the Califon Island Park in Califon, New Jersey. CalifonCarshow.org for more information. There's also a copy of the flyer on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. In New Mexico, June 15th, the 27th annual Mopar Muscle Club of New Mexico Mopar Fest at Haynes Park in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. From 9 a.m. until 3 p.m., nmmoparfest@yahoo.com for more information, or go to moparclub.com. Also, a copy of the flyer is on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. In the great state of New York, June 9th, it's the 14th annual Western New York Mopar All-Day Mopar Gathering and Drag Racing Show at Lancaster Motorplex in Lancaster, New York. Hosting club will be the Western New York Mopars, and their flyers on my Instagram account. And on October 13th, Mopars at the Valley Car Show and Swap Meet at Lebanon Valley Dragway, East Chatham, New York. Hosting club is the Capital Area Mopars. Go to dragway.com for more information. The great state of North Carolina, November 16th, Fall Mopars at the Rock at Rockingham Dragway in Rockingham, North Carolina, rockinghamdragway.com. Now to all the events that are happening in my home state of Ohio. June 8th, it's the 25th annual St. Mary's Mopar or No Car Cruise-In at St. Mary's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in St. Mary's, Ohio. Registration begins at 9 a.m. The cruise-in starts at 2 p.m. Contact Brian Engel at 305-6552 for more information. On Sunday, June 9th, the 17th annual Mopars at Junction. I'm hoping I'll be able to make it to that. I just sent my registration out today. Junction Auto Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram at the dealership there in Chardon, Ohio. Show car fee is $25 in advance by June 1st, $30 the day of the show. Swap meet space for a 20 by 20 space is $30. Rain date is the following Sunday on June 16th. Contact Mike during regular business hours at 440-286-6161 or 440-946-5577. After hours, you can call 440-221-2523. Flyer of this event as well is on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. June 22nd, an all Mopar show at Plaza Inn Restaurant at 491 South Main Street in Mount Victory, Ohio. August 2nd through the 4th. It's Mopars at 42 at Dragway 42 in West Salem, Ohio. Dragway42.com for more information there for race classes and everything else. Also, the 33rd annual Mid-Ohio Mopar Show will be part of Mopar Madness at 42. It will be held on the 3rd with a rain date on the 4th. Now, the flyer is also available on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. Now, the 43rd Annual Nationals is coming up at National Trail Raceway in Kirkersville, Ohio, east of Columbus, right on US 40. I haven't checked recently, but the website still has not been totally coming up, although I do have the flyer on my Instagram account. You can search Walt Parr Podcast for that. But they even said themselves they're fixing some glitches. It may be working now. I'm not sure. I have the latest addresses at moparnats.org. That may have changed as well. They do have a Facebook account if you want to check it out there as well. September 15th, the annual Classic Chrysler Club Car Club of Toledo car show will be held at Yark Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram at the Central Avenue Strip in Toledo, Ohio. More information to follow. And the final event in the state of Ohio, September 19th through the 22nd. The second annual World of Mopar at Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio. In Ontario, Canada, August 6th. Lots of great events here in Ontario. August 6th through the 11th, the Walter P. Chrysler Club National Meet will be held in Windsor, Ontario. ChryslerClub.org for more information. August 13th through the 16th, the 59th Annual Airflow Club National Meet will be at 4 Points Sheraton by Marriott in London, Ontario. Airflowclub.com for more information. August 17th through the 18th, Mopar Fest, Canada's largest all Mopar car show, will be going on each day from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. That's August 17th and 18th at 251 Jacob Street in New Hamburg, Ontario, Canada. Moparfest.com for more information. And finally, in Ontario, August 24th, 2024, the second annual Motor City Mopar Show at Motor City Chrysler in Windsor, Ontario. Hosting club will be the Windsor Area Mopar Muscle Club. More details at WAAMM on their Facebook page under events. In the great state of Oregon, August 4th, the 39th Annual Woodburn Drag Strip Mopar Nationals at Woodburn Drag Strip in Woodburn, Oregon. Go to woodburndragstrip.com or call 541-746-4620. And I do have a flyer of that on my Instagram account. Search Walt Parr Podcast. August 8th through the 10th. It is the Walter P. Chrysler Pacific Northwest Regional Meet, also to be held in Woodburn, Oregon. Email for more information at d.duthie, that's d.duthie, at comcast.net. The great state of Pennsylvania, June 2nd. It's the 37th Annual Lake Erie Tri-State Mopar Club All Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet. It will be held from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Albion County Fairgrounds in Albion, Pennsylvania. The hosting club is the Lake Erie Tri-State Mopar Club. Let's Mopar Club on Facebook or Let's Mopar Club at yahoo.com for more information. Flyer as well as on my Instagram account, search Walt Parr Podcast. Also, I have the flyer to this show, the All Mopar Show, hosted by the Lansdale Auto Group and Miss Mopar, from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Lansdale Auto Group in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. Registration opens up at 10 a.m. For more information, allmoparshow.com. And the big one, July 12th through the 14th. It is Chrysler Carlisle Nationals at the Carlisle Fairgrounds in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. CarlisleEvents.com for more information. Now, this is the event that replaces Mopars on the Beach in Myrtle Beach. Since Mopars on the Beach moved to Florida, Mike Stark and his wife are putting together Mopar Fever in its place up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It will be happening from October 16th through the 19th. Go to 8FO3. That's 8, letter F, letter O, 3, mopars.org, or go to their Facebook page. The Great State of South Dakota, August 24th. Mopar Rama 2024 is back at Billion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The hosting club is the Sioux Empire Mopars. Great State of Tennessee, the 35th Annual Music City Mopar Club Show at Wilson County Fairgrounds in Lebanon, Tennessee. Hosting club is the Music City Mopar Club. Dial 615-972-1056 for more information, or go to musiccitymoparclub.com for more information. On August 31st, 2024, in the great state of Virginia, it's the Mopars in the Valley, powered by Berglund Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. The show will go on from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Salem Civic Center. $20 for pre-registration, $30 the day of the show. Rain date will be September 1st. Hosted by David Simmons and the Roanoke Valley Mopar Club. Search Roanoke Valley Mopar Club on Facebook for more information. And finally, for regular meets in the great state of Washington, July 28th, the 19th Annual Mopar Magic All Mopar Car Show and Shine at Peninsula High School in Gig Harbor, Washington. AllAroundMopars.com for more information. We still have 3 events left in the Modern Hemi Street Shootout. I think that's what it's called. Yes, the Modern Street Hemi Shootout Series, presented by Siffles Speed and Performance. 3 events left. June 22nd will be the 3rd stop at Cecil County Dragway in Rising Sun, Maryland. August 16th and the 17th. The 4th stop will be part of the Woodward Green Cruise Weekend in Detroit, Michigan. And the 5th and final stop, October 18th and 19th at the Maryland International Raceway in Mechanicsville, Maryland. For more information, go to hemirace.com. Now, if you would like to have your all Mopar event or Mopar only event, be it a show, swap meet, whatever, please let me know. You can email me your flyer at waltparpodcast@aol.com, or you can message me on my social media accounts at Walt Parr Podcast. And please, prior going to any event that you want to go to, make sure you contact the event people to make sure the show is still going on, because we are not responsible for any changes or for any cancellations. And again, when it comes to the shows, even if you're a former member or help out, you don't have to be there all day, every day if these are multiple day events. Show up what you can. Maybe help set up swap spaces, a couple hours parking cars, whatever the case may be. Every little bit helps, and we need all the help that we can get at all the shows that are out there. It takes people to put them on. It could help. You can give them your help as well while you're at the shows. So please help out wherever you can. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks to Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, Patrick Rawl, and David Zatz of Stelpower for their contributions with episode 11 of the Walt Parr Podcast. And I have to give a big thank you to the 72 followers and 49 people who like my Facebook page, the 67 followers on X, the 192 followers on Instagram, and the 29 followers on Threads. Thank you so much. And you can join me well on any of these social media sites. Search Walt Parr Podcast. Do not forget as well, I'm also on YouTube and Rumble for if you want to hear the Walpar podcast, as well as your podcast platform, whichever one you listen to. Please, whatever you do, subscribe to wherever you hear this podcast. And if you like the Walpar podcast, please give me a top rating. It helps out very, very much. Now, if you have any questions about the show, concerns, suggestions for future shows, whatever, you can email me at walparpodcast@AOL.com, or you can snail mail me at P.O. Box 455, Apple Creek. That's 2 words, Apple Creek, Ohio, 44606. Don't forget to check out the other Mopar-related podcast, the Dodge Pod with Robert, with all great things Dodge trucks. TNT, that's T-N-T podcast with Tara Graves and Tina Bogus. Have not heard anything from them yet this year, hopefully soon. And of course, what's billed as the best Mopar podcast on planet Earth, Talking Mopars with Mopar hunter himself, Chris Albrecht. Now, before I go, please, wherever you go to a car show or cruise in, find a Mopar that is totally different than yours and say hello to them. It helps out a lot. We've got to be unifying these people. All of us, we need to be united. And that's what I try to do, is unite all generations and types of Mopar fans, lovers, enthusiasts everywhere. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you join me next time. I'm going to be taking a little time off. I got to get started on my Demon 340 and get it done. So episode 12 will be coming up. I'm not sure when, but I hope you'll be around then to listen to it. And remember, as Mike Bonadonna of the Citrus County, Florida, USA Mopar Club always says, keep those highways beautiful. Drive your Mopars. Again, uniting all generations and type of Mopar fans, lovers, and enthusiasts everywhere. From Walter P. Chrysler to today's Mopar and beyond, this has been the Walpar Podcast. Take care, everyone. The Walpar Podcast is a production of Auto Catawba, LLC.